Okay, for 2020 to 2021, affordable housing for low to moderate income tenants living in market rental housing was identified by Scarborough community members as the top priority issue. We urgently need to look to ways to maintain our supply of affordable housing and also to increase our supply to support vulnerable tenants. Today, we are going to learn about inclusionary zoning, or IZ, a tool that the city can use to make more affordable housing for tenants. To provide us with an introductory snapshot of inclusionary zoning, or IZ, I am joined today by Hannah Aldridge from Maytree, an organization that advances human rights-based solutions to poverty in Canada. Hannah, could you tell us what is inclusionary zoning?
Inclusionary zoning, or IZ, basically means that developers have to include some affordable housing in new residential developments. So if a developer wants to build a high-rise with 100 units, then a certain percentage of those 100 units has to be affordable. Essentially, IZ allows the city to say to developers, we'll only let you build what you want if some of that includes affordable housing. It increases the supply of affordable housing in a way that gets private developers to carry some of the costs. Municipalities in Ontario have been able to use IZ since 2018, and Toronto is currently in the process of developing its IZ policy. This means it's deciding which developments will be affected by the policy and how many affordable units they will be required to deliver. The ideal IZ policy would deliver the maximum number of affordable units without affecting developer profits so much that they just decide not to build anything.
And could you speak to how inclusionary zoning would help low to moderate income market rental tenants?
It's important to note that IZ isn't really seen as a tool that on its own can deliver rent levels that we see in social housing units, but it can deliver rent levels somewhere in between the market rate and social housing. It's just yet to be seen where exactly it lands. Inclusionary zoning's impact will depend on what the City of Toronto decides in its final policy. Housing advocates are calling for three things that they'd like to see in the policy. The first is that the policy should be applied to new developments of at least 60 units. At the moment, the city is proposing 100 units as its minimum. Advocates would like to see 20 to 30% of the units in developments being designated as affordable housing. And they would also like to see, the third one, they would also like to see developments that include a mix of affordability levels. So some units that offer affordability slightly below the market rent and some much lower in order to cater for the range of financial needs within the city. Generally, market assessments have shown that these three requests that advocates are making are within the capacity of Toronto's housing market to absorb without affecting developer profits too much.
And finally, could you tell us why we need inclusionary zoning now and what the impact of implementing this would be?
We need inclusionary zoning because there is a severe shortage of affordable housing in Toronto. At least 380,000 households in Toronto live in housing that is in disrepair, it's overcrowded, or it's unaffordable. Though despite the urgency of the situation, it will be a few years before we start to see the benefits of IZ. The city is still in the process of finalising the policy, and after that, the developments that it applies to will still need to be built. But there's reasons to be positive. Adequate housing is a human right. It's recognised in international law, and the City of Toronto has started to officially recognise that by including it in its housing action plan for the next 10 years. And that plan also sets out very ambitious affordable housing targets. So overall, the shortage of affordable housing in Toronto is substantial, and the city will have to use all the tools in its toolbox to meet these targets. Inclusionary zoning on its own won't be able to deliver all of the affordable housing, but every tool needs to play its part, and it's crucial that inclusionary zoning does that.
Thank you, Hannah Aldridge, for sharing the snapshot of inclusionary zoning with us today.